Hello and welcome to Baking on a Budget. Now in this video what we are going to be making is this absolutely gorgeous tiramisu. Tiramisu, a really special dessert, a little bit more expensive than what I normally do, but I look at it as a treat and it is going to be fabulous. So we have all of the materials over here. I'm going to run through exactly what we've got and how we put this dish together. To begin with, we will need 4 egg yolks, and that is 42 pence. We have 100 grams of sugar, which is 12 pence. We have 750 millilitres of double cream. That's the expensive part, and that comes to £2.87. We'll use some of that to make the mascarpone cheese with, which is a little bit of a saving actually. If you were to buy the mascarpone cheese from the shop, the price would go up a little. So we're going to make that from the double cream, and we'll do that first. We have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract at 12 pence. We have 1.5 cups of espresso coffee, which came out at about 15 pence. And we have 24 ladies' fingers or sponge fingers, and that is £1.47. And we have about a tablespoon of cocoa powder, which is 12 pence. So the total cost of this is £5.27. We're going to get 8 substantial and delicious portions out of that, making each portion about 65 pence. As I say, a little bit more expensive, but it's going to be really good. Okay, so making the tiramisu and putting all of this together, it's a recipe of 2 halves really. We need to make the mascarpone cheese first. Obviously, if you're buying in mascarpone cheese, that's okay, but I'm going to make my own in this video, and that is the first thing that we need to do, because we need to let this set in the fridge overnight. But to make the mascarpone takes no time at all really. Let me show you how that's done. We want to end up with about 350 to 400 millilitres or grams of mascarpone. So I'm putting in there 450 millilitres of double cream. The other thing that we'll need is some lemon juice. So I have about a tablespoon of lemon juice there. And what we want to do is just get this on the hob. Simplicity itself really. We'll have double cream in the pan over the hob, and that's going to sit there until it just starts to simmer. That's what we want. We want to get it up to a simmer, not a boil. We don't want it bubbling furiously or anything like that. We just want a nice light simmer. So I'm going to leave that on there until it does that, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, now if you can see that, that's just starting to shimmer on the top. And what I'm going to do is take a tablespoon of this lemon juice and put it in there. Now, we're going to mix this up and keep it stirring. And you can see it's thickened straight away. I'm going to turn the gas right down to the lowest point we can get it. And we just want to let this sit. Keep stirring it for another couple of minutes, and then we're nearly there. Very simple to make, very simple. Okay, that's just had another couple of minutes. As I say, very low heat. And the famous test of this is the spoon test, is it not? What you do is you roll a spoon in it, and if it coats the back of the spoon and stays fairly sharp either side once you run your finger down it, we're good to go. Okay, so what we have here is a bowl, empty bowl, and a sieve, and I have a muslin square. Now you could use a cheesecloth for this. You could simply just use a clean tea towel if you wished. We just want something to strain this through. So now what we want to do is just pour this into the muslin or the cheesecloth. And the idea is we just want to leave this for about 30 minutes. It will start to stiffen up after a few minutes, but we want to leave it to cool down and to strain through for about 30 minutes. The whey will separate, although there won't be much because this is a very heavy cream. But if we leave that to cool down, it'll start to thicken up, and then we can seal it up, put it in the fridge, and it's going to be fantastic for our tiramisu. Okay, so our mascarpone cheese has been in the fridge overnight. That is looking delicious actually. That's really smooth, looks beautiful. So the next thing we want is the egg yolks. So I'm going to crack these and separate them. And we've got 4 eggs here, and we want the 4 yolks into this jug, or a small bowl if you have one, either would do. To that I'm going to add the sugar. Now we need to make it over to the hob for just a moment or two, and on the hob I have a pan of simmering water. Now I'm going to beat these, mix them up over the simmering water, and this will just help them to thicken and become a beautiful creamy consistency. That's what we're after. Okay, that is looking good. Thickened up a lot and nice and creamy. That's just what we want. In a separate jug or bowl or whatever you're using, we want 350 ml of this double cream. Now, what is in each one of these? 300 in each one of those. If we put this in as well, and obviously we've already used some of this for the mascarpone. What we want to do with this is start to whisk it. And this wants to be nice and thick as well, sort of peaking, you know. Okay, well, cream has come together like that, and that's looking fine. Okay, so we have our three main elements here, and what I'm going to do is just transfer this thickened double cream into this bowl. Okay, now what we want to do is add probably about half of the mascarpone into that and start folding it in. And now another load of that mascarpone in there. Okay, that's the last dollop in there. We'll just combine all of that nicely like that. We have those two well combined. Next thing to do is to add our egg and sugar mix. And I'm going to do this the same way. I'll add it a little bit at a time. Make sure that's all nicely well mixed in and combined. And this will soften the whole thing up a little. Right, we'll just get the last scraping of the egg and sugar mix out of this jug. I do believe that's it. And we will continue to fold all of that together. Now that has softened off quite a bit, so what I may do is just give that another whisking. Yes, we'll just whisk that a little, get any of the lumps out. That will do it. Flying all over the place, but that's all right. Okay, now we'll set that aside for a little while. We have this dish which is about 6 inches by 9. We have the sponge fingers here. Let me just turn that around a touch. We have the sponge fingers and we have the espresso coffee. Now what we want to do is soak the sponge fingers in the espresso just for a few seconds, because they will go soft very quickly. That will do that for that one. And we want to put a layer of these on the bottom of this dish. Okay, there we have it. This is the first layer. I'm just going to let them absorb a little bit more of that espresso for a moment or two, and then we will look at the next phase. With that done, as I say, they've all softened up nicely. Delicious. Yeah, it's going to be really something. Right, so next thing we want to do is get a generous coating of our cream mixture on here. Right, now we want to flatten that just about as much as we can, and then we want another layer of the sponge fingers. And again, same as before, we just want to get these nicely soaked in the espresso. This is a nice strong coffee I've got here as well. Any type of coffee would do, but I would say the stronger the better for this type of dessert. And with the next layer of espresso soaked sponge on there, then we are going to get on another layer of this beautiful cream mixture. Now I think I may have overdone it here with the cream. This is the first time I've made this, so my quantities might be a little bit out. But if there is any left, which I think there is going to be, what I might do is just make a couple of individual tiramisus, maybe in a small glass or something like that. That would be very nice. And that would obviously affect the overall price of this as well, because we are going to get more than that which I first thought. You see, what I'm saying here is if you cut this down the center here, and you know, this here is going to be a perfect portion of this tiramisu, because it's very rich. So you're going to get 8 there, and I've probably got enough here to do another small ramekin or something like that, which I will do. So we're going to say possibly 9 excellent tiramisus out of this recipe, or these quantities. Okay, last but not least, we have got a tablespoon here of this cocoa powder, And what I'm going to do is just sprinkle that over the top of there. I think that will do it. Okay, look at that. Now that's going back into the fridge and it's going to stay there for a good few hours. I just want it to stiffen up a little bit. And then believe you me, I can't wait to have a taste of that. So into the fridge for a couple of hours with it. It's had almost enough time to set. A little bit soft still, but I'm not going to complain about that. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? This is homemade tiramisu with homemade mascarpone cheese. And we're going to take a taste of that right now. That melts in the mouth. That is absolutely beautiful, folks. As I say, a little bit more of an expensive dessert than that which I would normally do, but as a treat now and again, absolutely beautiful. The combination of tastes is marvellous. Now, as I say, overall, we did indeed get 9 servings out of this. So that makes each serving 58 pence. Now, still 58 pence for such a wonderful dessert. And as I say, if you've been following over the last few weeks, we did first of all the minestrone soup, which was superb. After that, we followed that with a spaghetti bolognese, which was beautiful, hearty, filling meal. And if we had this as the dessert, a absolutely marvellous 3-course meal for £2.55, which I think is, again, fairly reasonable. Now, can I say, as ever, if you've enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more very simple to prepare, very inexpensive recipes in the future, do consider subscribing to the channel. Many more to come. In the meantime, I thank you very much for watching, and it's going to take no time at all for me to finish this beautiful tiramisu.